Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. If you haven't kept up with all the CES news this year, you may have missed the announcement from Nvidia on the first ever 360Hz monitor. That's right, 360 frames per second. Now, if you're like me, you only have a 60Hz display, so something as wild as 360Hz sounds completely unnecessary. But is it? Well, believe it or not, I was actually invited to check out Nvidia's booth, where a few different people took me around some of the company's newest offerings, and one of the things they showed me was their new 360Hz displays. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I came into this with an open yet cynical mind. As you'll quickly learn a little later, I'm very much not the best gamer, and these are more or less aimed at esports players, so a pleb like me likely won't see a difference. Or so I thought. Anyway, to show off these new monitors, Nvidia had a few demos to give you an idea of a difference it can make. Two of the demos were from CSGO, with the first being a simple test of reaction speed. Basically, it has a character that jumps across a doorway at intervals. You know where he's going to appear and where he'll end up, but you only have a small opportunity to finish him off. You end up doing this twice, once at 60Hz and the other at 360. Now, I'd like to tell you that it's a whole lot harder than you think, but it really may not be, and I just suck that bad. Either way, in the 60Hz test, I got a whopping 0 out of 10. Dang it. I thought I could at least get 1.
Yeah, so did I.
Yep, I didn't get any of them. After that, it was time for the 360Hz test, and believe it or not, I actually did much better, getting 7 out of 10. Now, to interject, I have to say that it almost felt like I was missing the target when it got a hit, but I didn't know why. I'm not going to try and call foul play without proof or anything at all, but it was odd. Then again, things were so close that it very well could have just been me barely hitting him. The next test was a simple timed endless wave style mode where you basically just turn in a circle and using headshots only try to kill as many enemies as you can before the time runs out. And here, I showed that I don't do well under the intense pressure of like 4 people watching me, so you know I'll be a great Twitch streamer, but regardless, I got a paltry 10 hits. Now, that was at 60Hz, and as you know, frame rate is the key to success, so I did it again at 360Hz. This time, I did do a bit better, but I did get really frustrated at one particular bobblehead. Anyway, at the end, I did score better, hitting 12 versus 10. Now, if you haven't noticed by the 2 main demos Nvidia showed so far, the company is actually marketing these as more of a competitive advantage rather than a visual advantage in the way of smoothness, etc. And personally, I really think that's smart because the last demo right here does go over the smoothness factor, and don't get me wrong, there's a noticeable difference in the smoothness even when compared to 240Hz, though I'm really not sure if you can see it in the 30 FPS footage here. Just know that in person there is a clear difference. The issue is that, and I think Nvidia knows this, is that you can only really see it when side by side against the other refresh rate. But luckily for them, there does seem to be a tangible difference between having more frames per second, and to think that even a pleb like me can benefit from it is interesting. Of course, none of this actually answers the question of whether it's worth it for gamers, or in general. I'm not sure how I'll be wording the title. Either way, I really think that this is more of a testament of 60 FPS versus 120 FPS. You can actually look at Nvidia's own graphs to see that you get the biggest difference between 60 FPS and 120, meaning for the best bang for your buck, you're better just getting a 120 or 144Hz monitor. Remember that these tests were 60Hz versus 360, not 240 to 360, etc. With that said, according to Nvidia, there is a 4% improvement over 240Hz in Twitch aiming. Basically, this definitely isn't worth it for the average gamer. Then there's the fact that you need a GPU that can consistently get you those kind of frames, and even with esports games, that's a challenge. Really, I'd only suggest this to someone like a Twitch streamer or player who literally does this for a living. Of course, if you think it's worth it for you, by all means. I genuinely was surprised by the results, but I think you'll still see a big difference by just getting a 120 or 144Hz monitor instead. So while that does it for today, what do you think? Are 360Hz monitors worth the inevitable price tag over a 60Hz or even 144Hz monitor? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe. And as always, have a great day.